Welcome back. It is time for the weekend review. It is August 30th as we're coming into September. After Labor Day here, it is time to look and see what we got going on. So, last week we made another new all-time high. Our plans have been ridiculously on point. If you've been following along, you have made lots of money, so congratulations. Now we're going to continue the trend and keep it going. So, I've got a lot of really interesting stuff to talk about. And so let's get right into it. First and foremost, like always, we start with the top-down approach. And before we get right into the weekly TPO, I want to show you something that I've actually just saw here. And actually, we'll just pull this up. This is part of the Substack, and I'm going to include this in our Substack. There'll be a link down here. We just got a 100-day over the 200-day moving average on the 15th or 18th of August, so 2 weeks ago. Guys, this is a monumental moment here for this bullish cycle. A lot of people have been talking about how bearish this market could be or whatever, and this is a huge cross right here, 100 over 200. Based on the statistics, we have a 93% chance of being positive over the next year and 2 years. So this is simply just more continuation signals for our massive bull run. We said it before. I've been saying it for months, especially with the $5 trillion worth of stimulus and they're devaluing the dollar. Assets have no choice but to go up in price. And this is just another confirmation that we are probably right on track. So again, that doesn't mean that this thing can't have market gyrations. I'm going to go ahead and include this for you here, but you'll see that, we have a 73% chance of being positive in the first month, 80% chance in 3 months, 87% chance after 6 months. In 1 to 2 years, we have had a 93% chance with between 15 and 28% gains. I mean, this is massive. I mean, this market has already put in so much gains, but yet here we are again with another possibility of moving up. Now, that doesn't mean that this is just going to go up forever. So one of the things that I wanted to show you here that I saw was an interesting statistic was this happened before in early 2016. This thing pulled back 10%. And then obviously it had a massive bull run. So that doesn't mean that we won't get, this isn't just a buy and forget it type situation, but this is certainly something that we want to keep track of and pay attention to. So that was the first thing that I wanted to show you guys. This was a huge find, and I was kind of shocked when I saw that. And then when I went back and actually looked at the statistics of it, this has only happened, I think, 15 times since 1980. So this doesn't happen very often. So it's been 45 years and it's only happened 15 times. So this is, a 9 in 10 chance for us to have another huge move to the upside. So again, bullish, he said, and so far we are leaning that direction. So I guess I can remove this chart now and let's get right into it. All right. So once again, the weekly TPO is always on my mind to find out where we were at in balance, what is potentially important. And so here is what we have, guys. So we popped a nice little high here. As you guys know, we were so trying to get this upside target of finally making a new high in the RTH session. They struggled a couple good times to get up here, but finally was able to complete the mission. Now, as you can see below, first off, we have a pretty good value area high. We do not have a very good value area low down here. And this actually brings us right down into this area that I was looking at, which has a lot of absorption on the weekly profile. It's right into the 64.25 area. And this area is going to be super important, and you're going to see why. We're going to talk about it. We will get there shortly. The other spot that has a lot of absorption at the lows and the naked weekly POC is right around 63.90s. Now, I really don't want to see us get down there, but it's possible. And so we have to understand where it's at nonetheless, okay? This is kind of the key area right here, which I'm looking for. And if not, then we can always come lower, okay? And the other spot that we would really want to kind of pay attention to would be this area down here where we have this naked point of control and all that stuff down here. And we'll get into that here a little bit more shortly when we go down to the higher time frame candlesticks. And that's right around 63.30, 63.40 spot, okay? So that's where we're going to stop with the weekly TPO. You get an idea that we've got some imbalance to the low side here, so it wouldn't surprise me to come down and clean this up this week. Actually, I think that's certainly a possibility. So here is how we're going to look at the weekly as usual. We have this massive weekly here that was super important, guys. If you guys remember, 64.25 a couple weeks back sent us down 90 points. And here we are back above it, and it is untested. 64.25. That was the same spot as I just pointed out in this profile where we had some serious absorption here, 64.2475. And so this is a key area that I will be watching, okay? And we're going to get into that more when we start to get even more granular. This is all going to come together for us, okay? So right now, we have made that all-time high. The leg to the all-time high is tested, but we have some serious resistance above us right now, okay? So what we have currently right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and blow this up so we can get we can focus on this a little bit here. So what we have here is, this is our previous leg down, and this is the tip, okay? So we have 64.8950 and 64.9675, kind of a nice little zone in here, okay? There's also a couple 4 hours in here, which we'll get into, but right now these are untested. Both of these areas could absolutely provide a reaction, and we close below this. We have not lost on the daily time frame. I want this to be very clear. We are still technically up on the daily time frame. Yes, we've lost on the 4 hour. For those of you who were looking at the plan on Friday, yes, we are starting to see cracks in the rally. Yes, we've got the 4 hour lost, and so has the 1 hour. But again, the weekly and the daily has not. So the high time frame still rules in this case. But what I'm actually looking for is, this is our leg in, guys. Actually, here's how it works. So we've got a leg in, and we've talked about this a few times, okay? So we've got, this is the actual leg to the high, okay? That's our main leg. But we're going to break this up into two segments. We've got the leg to the previous all-time high, and then we pulled back. And then we come back up, and we made another leg to the all-time high. So this is all actually our sub-leg. And if you guys recall, this area right here at 12 was very difficult to get back above. Well, they've made another daily leg here at 64.13. So we have a daily leg at 62.68, which is also a weekly, by the way. And then we also have the daily leg at 64.13, which is fresh. It also has this previous all-time high support from back in June. And so this is, July, excuse me. So this is a prime spot, okay? And here's what I could foresee happening. There is a good possibility or potential that we pull back into this area, whether it be 64.25 or 64.13. This area is prime for the buy, okay? So if we pull back in here and we start to get acceptance above 64.31, which is our big daily here, which played amazing on Monday, the previous Monday, it actually sent us to all-time highs. You can't see the touch because it happened in Globex, but it just sent us all the way up, okay? So with that being said, if we play 12 or 25 and get back above 31, we could potentially squeeze all the way back to all-time highs, okay? So just putting that out there, all right? And if we do close the daily below 64.12 or 64.13, this is in trouble as far as support is concerned, and we could start to rotate all the way down and eventually get down to this leg in. Now, there are other things before that, but nothing major high time frame or untested. This would more than likely be our ultimate target, okay? But I'm pretty confident in this area, but anything can happen. So before I get ahead of myself, let's just talk about this. So we've got these resistances here that we talked about at 64.8950 and 64.9675. These could very well provide a head bump and bring us down, okay? We do have this area right here at 64.5075. This is technically a little sub-leg, okay, on this move up. But I don't really like it. I can't tell if it's tested. It's very, very close to being tested. And I even have watch on here. I'm just unsure of how this is going to play, okay? It very well could hold, and we could go right back up. So I don't want to ignore it. It's here. It's something you need to keep in mind, okay? But a daily close underneath 64.50 or just a move below 64.4675, which is our previous all-time high leg tip, would naturally bring us down into the 25 or 13 area. Remember, the 64.31 is huge. You can't tell that it was tested on the RTH, but it was, and I'll show you when we go to the 4 hour. And this, I actually have a really nice failed breakdown trade I like here off of this weekly, which I'll show you guys. So, don't forget about this weekly, right? 64.25. We've got the 31 daily. They play the 25, regain 31. We're off and running, okay? And actually, just looking at this ETH chart, I'll show you here. So this is the 31. We came down from the 96. We played it, and we came up. We made a new all-time high, okay? So right now, and you can even see my failed breakdown indicator with the box right here, if they come down here and they play the 25 and they get back above 31, this thing's going to squeeze hard as hell. All right, so they may not even come into the 13. But if they do come into the 13, we want to see them get back above 25 and still ultimately over 31, for us to feel real good about this continuation to the upside. We currently have the monthly VWAP is at 64.16. So for those of you guys who like to track what the CTAs are doing, this is a great spot for them to buy. So we have a lot of reasons down here to like this spot, okay? And that's pretty much how I'm going to leave it for us here. Now, we can go ahead and take a look at this here. And I'm going to go ahead and throw the weekly and other time frames on here. So boom. So there you go. Here's our 64.25. So you can see this area here. Okay, so that's why I was talking about the sweep and get back above. And then if we move lower, we have these dailies here at 63.44.75, tested, but very important. The reason it's tested is because this was a move to the previous all-time high, absolutely a leg, no question about it. Okay, so being above or below, that's going to be important. And then also, these 20s were really important. If you guys remember, we played these. We had a beautiful failed breakdown off the 23. This 23 played, gave us an all-time high. We pulled back, we swept the low, we played the 20, and they made the other all-time high. So these are all super important spots. So 23 or 20 is going to be the next big spot underneath 63.44.75. And then we get down into some weeklies. So let's just take a look at that. So as you can see, I have some really significant weeklies down here. 02, 63.02, and 62.94. This is just a big zone for me. Okay, I don't know which one is going to be the good one. And in all honesty, the really good one is 62.68. Okay, so, and the reason that is this is the leg, weekly leg to the all-time high. But these are absolutely supports. Okay, so we could play this area in here, or we could come down and play the 68. Okay, I don't know how it's going to pan out yet, but if they play the 68, and we want to see them get back above the 6300s, and then we'll just continue to squeeze higher, and we'll know at this point, okay, this is going to hold. We're back above the other previous weekly supports, and we're good to go. Okay, so that's how we're going to analyze that particular trade there, if that happens. And you can see the same thing applies down here. This is the daily time frame. Here's the 68. We play this area, we get back above the 6300, then we get back above the 20s, and then we get back above the 44s, and we just keep riding this up, for our supports. But ultimately, this is the leg up. So if they hold this, we have to take profits as you come up, but we're really looking for new highs. But ultimately, I would be really kind of taking a lot of profits around the 64.10 area, just to be quite frank. We know how much difficult it was to get back above it the first time, and we're also looking to buy it again. And so I know this area is large. We want to take some profits around here if we do indeed come down there, and then we will play the regain at that point. So that's what I got here. Now, I'm going to throw this out there just because I think it's important for us to talk about this. I did a little video on SPX earlier. Same exact concept. Let me hide these. Same exact concept. Weekly leg, top down weekly at 6,400. I like the fact that 6,400 is that's a nice round number, and that works out real well for SPX. That's the weekly, that's the daily, that's the same exact spot as we're looking at the 64.13 spot. Also the 64.25 for them, it's 64.05. Again, big weekly, and if they close below that, then we come down here and we play what they call the 62.38, which is our version of the 62.68. So, slightly different numbers, same structure, very important. Now, let's talk about VIX because, the VIX, as you guys know, I'm a big proponent of this. We talked about on Friday that if they were going to dump this indices, that they needed to get above this weekly at 1485, and they played this daily and shot out like a cannon. And as you guys know, the indices dumped, and we hit our head above here. Now, what does that mean for us? Well, right now, this thing hasn't gained in a long time. They just keep making new lows popping up, new lows popping up, new lows popping up. So we still haven't gained, okay? But we are still technically above our 1485 weekly that I've been telling you guys that we need to watch. And so we're there, all right? So we do need to watch. Now, so what can happen here? Well, we haven't gained, so we could technically come back down and just make new lows again. But I don't know if the ES is done coming down. I'd like to see it come down 50 more points and play that leg end around 25 or 13, around the 64, 25 or 13. And if that's the case, we're going to monitor this 1485 weekly again on VIX. We just are. This is a huge above-below level. We know the daily at 1449 is tested. And so if they pull back, they played this daily at 1587. If they pull back and they hold the 1485, this could, again, pop, in which sends the indices down. This pullback in here could give the indices a little relief rally, and then again they could just pop again and force us down until we get to another resistance point. Now, what's interesting is I don't really have too much untested on here for VIX until we get all the way up to 2038. So, I mean, if it goes up there, then we're probably going to come down a lot farther than the 50 points that we need to get to into the 64.13 spot. But you never know. This is our big resistance area right now above us at 16.52, and then we've got a big big tested monthly up here at 1740. But again, as of right now, this hasn't gained on any time frame. They're just popping and continuing to lose. And so right now we had a nice close, but it's only gained on the 4 hour. And for me, that's not awesome, especially for VIX. So again, just watch the 1485 spot. I'm expecting it to get a reaction, which could send the indices down a little bit. How far does it go? We don't know. I would really like to see the VIX stay suppressed underneath this monthly at 1565. We've talked about this a couple times. It's been in the other reviews. And as long as they do that, even if they play this and pop back up, that's fine. Let them play their games. But just keep in mind that if we get underneath 1485, the indices will push to the upside pretty strongly. And then getting below the 1450 dailies under here will again continue to send the indices much, much higher. So that's what I got for you guys. We are done for the day. It's pretty cut and dry. Obviously, keep in mind that golden cross, that was a big find. Kind of saw it by accident. So I hope you guys are able to take that into your repertoire and use that. And just remember, we are ultimately bullish. As FinTwit continues to be bearish all the time, we know that is the place that money goes to die. So unless you're just looking to make fun of people, please do not look on there for trading advice. So anyways, you guys have a great and excellent weekend. Enjoy your Monday holiday off, and we will talk soon. Cheers.